Hello everyone, it's just Mikwo here today, and welcome to, I don't even know what to call this, but we're going to be taking a look at the Build It SpongeBob, Squidward, and Patrick figures, which are not Lego. I don't know what brand they are, if they have like any specific branding on them at all here, besides Nickelodeon. And the fact that this is Nickelodeon branded, like fake Lego, this makes me think that Nickelodeon wants Lego SpongeBob back, and Lego doesn't. That's the way I've been seeing it for a while now. I mean, they denied the Ideas project. Nickelodeon keeps airing Lego shows, maybe in hopes that they'll want to strike a deal. But they got desperate, and they went for the knockoffs. So, I am interested to see what the quality is on this. Of course, we do have 3 of them here. I'm not sure if there's any more, but for now we just have SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward. And all these builds look super awkward, so I'm really excited to get them in hand. They come in these eggs for some reason. That's something I probably should mention. I don't know what the egg is about, if you're hatching them or something. And the egg has studs on the bottom of it, which is also an interesting choice. If you're wondering the compatibility with Lego, we can take this Harry Potter figure here, and he stays on pretty well. It might be even like a little trickier to get him off of there. Like that, maybe. I am interested to see how the rest of the build will actually compare to Lego. All of them say 70 plus bricks here, so I don't know what that means. I guess, well, I mean, obviously more than 70. But why don't they just put the actual piece count? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to try to get into these now, starting with SpongeBob here. So you can't really see it on camera here, but there is like a tear here thing here. And I'm trying that out right now. It's not going too well. I don't think this is the way it was supposed to come off. I'm just completely destroying it. And, yeah, that was not really my intention. Got some interesting leftovers there. And, yeah, I guess that's that. So let's crack open this egg. And here we go. Got an instruction booklet here. Again, 70 plus bricks. And wow, he actually comes in a few separate bags here. So we have this bag. They're not numbered or anything. There's this bag. And then there's this bag, which has some interesting minifigure hand looking pieces. And this bag. So lots of different bags here for whatever reason. And it does appear that the SpongeBob face here is a print. And that print, that looks pretty good. So I am interested to see how this will be building it here. I'll probably time-lapse it, but like break in between just to talk about how the build is. Because I have a feeling this is going to be quite the experience. Opening up the instructions here, it appears that the bags do have some formatting to them. It goes legs, body, and then arms. Am I missing something there? Because there's 4 bags. No, I guess that's it. So I guess it's not entirely organized, but these instructions look super complicated, so let's get into this. My suffering shall begin now. Okay, now that the legs are done, I gotta say, so far, this really isn't that bad of quality. It seems pretty nice. It's a little hard to get the pieces to stick together, kind of like Mega Bloks is, in my opinion, but honestly, it's really not that bad. Okay, I had to pause again because this is a weird piece. Another pause here for another interesting piece here. There's a lot of, like, I was expecting this to just be exact copies of Lego bricks, but this is quite a unique piece like the other one from before, so kinda interesting. Okay, SpongeBob is done. That took way longer than a Lego build would because it was kind of hard to put the pieces on, and I actually messed up the arms, which is why they're not on. I'm gonna try to fix the arms, but you guys don't need to see that on camera. Let's just get into Patrick, which I may or may not show the time-lapse for. It depends on how different the build really is. So something I noticed with Patrick here is that the boxes do have these red labels, or the bags have these red labels that are like extremely hard to read, but it is in fact labeled like body 1, body 2, and then like legs and arms. So there is some organization labeled on the bag, which is good. Now all 3 of them have been built. If you want to see a time-lapse of Patrick's build, that will be up on Meek20. I didn't include a time-lapse for Squidward anywhere though, because I had a lot of trouble building him, and we'll get to that more later, but let's take a look at all of them individually, starting with SpongeBob. SpongeBob is actually my favorite of these 3 builds. I know that all of them look kind of weird, and especially like the top of his head being like shortened is weird to me. I also don't like the fact that his face sticks out further than the back of him. Obviously, he doesn't look great from the sides where his arms are. I also think the arm placement in itself is weird. Like, he looks fine now, but his posability is this, and that looks kind of weird. I think it's funny, though, and I love it, but that's just a weird design choice to me. The pants actually look pretty good. They do have, like, the little white here, where it should be brown at the bottom, but that's really just a nitpick. His legs are pretty posable. For some reason, they move this way. I mean, I'm not really sure how they could have made them move forward and back in this scale, but they can move like this, and I guess that is still good, you know, some posability. Kind of reminds me of the stepping on the beach walk when he does that. I also think that this face print is really good quality, and honestly, Lego's printing quality has been pretty bad recently, so this might even be better than that. And overall, I think it's a pretty decent build. It does look like SpongeBob, and I definitely think this is the best value for your $5. Patrick here is probably the worst of the 3 builds, at least like design-wise. He just looks really weird, and I get that Patrick is like a very hard character to replicate with bricks, but he can't even stand. They had to give him these clear pieces, and his legs move a little bit, but you can't really do much with that with the clear stands, and it just looks kind of awkward. His arms can move up and down pretty well, and you can rotate them too because of the roundness of this piece here, but you don't really need to do that. I mean, it is nice that you can, but like the stomach area here, this looks really weird. I don't know what that's about. From the sides and the back, like, what is going on? In fact, I can't even get like his head to stay on all the way. You can tell it's like not all together, and if I try to push it more, he will fall apart. His print quality isn't as good, at least on mine. You can't really see anything there, but there's like one little speck of dirt on his mouth, so no real big deal there, but something to note. He also has one flower print. I don't know why they didn't include one on the back or the other side, but I guess, you know, at least they included something there. But overall, this build just looks super awkward. His face is sticking out, and it's like, what were they doing? So the last one we have here is Squidward, and I do think his design looks pretty good for the most part. His nose looks bad from every angle but the front, and he does have some awkward gaps, and like the midsection looks pretty awkward there. But that's to give him his extreme amount of posability. He can do this. His arms are like ridiculously posable, and so are his legs. He is kind of fragile because of that, and for me personally, this was a nightmare to put together. I'm not sure if there was a problem with my copy, because I did talk to my friend Spongy Productions, and he said he didn't have a problem building this because he also got these figures. So maybe it's just my copy, maybe I just cannot build, but be warned, he might not go together very easily, and he might not stay together very easily either. Overall, I really don't think these are as bad as you might expect. The building process might not be the most fun thing, and the quality, of course, is not going to be as good as Lego. But I don't think they're terrible, except Patrick, his build is so bad, I would not recommend buying Patrick by any means, because It's not worth spending time on this build. It's kind of complicated. The pieces are a little bit harder to put together. And you get this monstrosity as your end result. So I'd say stay away from Patrick. I'd say SpongeBob is definitely a good purchase. For $5, I mean, why not? He's silly looking. Who wouldn't want that, you know, if you're a SpongeBob fan or a Lego SpongeBob fan? That's a great addition to your collection, I'd say, even though it's not official. It's just a fun little thing to have. Squidward is a bit of a gamble because you might have a lot of trouble building. And if you actually plan to, like, play with these, I would not recommend him because he does, like I said, fall apart pretty easily. So overall, SpongeBob's the best, Squidward's probably second, and Patrick is just bad. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the review of these knockoffs, and I will see you all in another video.